1,200 hours, and half of that into one weapon class. Why would I do that? Limit myself despite the hundreds of other available weapons? Because it's a cool sword, of course! Cut. Obviously there's more that Splatana offers than just looks. Splatana has always been a solid weapon class, consistently placing in high tiers, but just never quite there. Stamper was always a good weapon, constantly seeing use in top play, and despite the many nerfs it received, it firmly held its place in the higher tiers. Wiper, on the other hand, started as the biggest piece of imaginable. It didn't paint very well, had slow kill time, and Ultra Stamp was less than desirable. It was finally shot into the spotlight when Daddy Nogami blessed us with some much needed paint buffs. It finally let Wiper fill the QR niche, serving as an alternative to Dark Tedros. And just recently, they finally added the weapon to round off the Splatana trilogy, the Decavitators. At the time of writing this video, the Decavitator stands firmly in mid-tier, not overpowered, but not weak by any means. All three weapons have had their time in the spotlight, but never truly hailed as the best weapons in the game. But I'm not here to tell you why these Splatanas are viable weapons in the meta, I'm here to tell you why you should play. Let's start with playstyle. Each Tana has its own unique playstyle, but the core mechanics stay the same. It's a reliance on combos and the flow between the long and short range modes. With a delicate damage balance with the charge and standard swings, a good portion of your kills will be with combos. So much so that you'll gaslight yourself into thinking that you're playing a fighting game. You'll have to decide between the flexibility and movement with the standard swings or the high power and range charge slashes mid-fight. Once you play more and get used to it, you'll have to think about it less. Heck, as a Splatana main, you already don't think. Knowing which slash to use will be as natural as walking. But don't count out the bread and butter of the Splatana. You know exactly why people play Splatana. For that juicy one-shot. It'll give any unsuspecting frontline a run for their money when you suddenly ruin their future dreams and ambitions in one quick slash. The flexibility of the main weapon is what truly sets Splatanas apart from most weapons in Splatoon. Let's not forget the different quirks that each weapon has. Stamper, usually hailed as the strongest of the three, boasts the best range, paint, and a respectable direct hitbox. The weapon's main drawback comes from how hard it is to hit your shots, as well as its poor ink efficiency, but its midline pressure more than makes up for it. It allows it to even score up against anchors. What hitbox is disrespectful though? The Decavitator's charge slash hitbox. Rather than vertical hitboxes that allow for poking from under ledges, Decavitator has a wider slash that can farm collapse in a sweeping motion. The charge slash is what defines its playstyle, as the dash on Decav goes the farthest out of the three Tanas. You can easily catch unsuspecting opponents off guard with its abnormal reach. With these upsides alone, this weapon sounds overpowered. Nintendo, please nerf! But with such huge upsides, it comes with significant downsides as well. That issue being how weak its mid to long range is. Due to the slight delay before you charge slash, not only does Decav struggle to engage opponents in open areas, but its limited range makes fighting mid to long range weapons feel all the more terrible. Its ink efficiency also leaves a little more to be desired. And finally, we have the most agile member of the Splatana family, my personal favorite, the W plus M1 wait, wrong game, the Splatana Wiper. The main appeal of Wiper is its mobility and lack of gear dependency, its charge and standard slashes being significantly faster than its other counterparts, with the main drawback being its damage. The combo potential doesn't quite live up to its other Tana variants, but makes up for it with its strafing and mobility. The ability to paint a full trail with one slash and being a lightweight allows it to close the distance in no time. The mobility is what truly defines Wiper, an aggressive frontline that can engage both up close, kite opponents at mid-range, and just be an overall frontline menace. Each Splatana comes with 2 different kits, with each their own unique combos and playstyles. There's quite a few options, so I'll briefly explain them. Wiper was the first Splatana shown off all the way back in the Splatoon 3 Direct, being one of the most unique weapons yet. The standard Tana kit rocks the Torpedo and Ultra Stamp, which allows it to fit the role of an aggressive frontline perfectly. Torpedo can combo very well with both its charge and standard slashes, as well as easily track down opponents ahead of you, so you're not pushing into situations blind. Ultra Stamp works on paper, in the sense that the frontline positions you play at synergizes well with Stamp. In practice, Ultra Stamp sucks. It just feels like too many weapons can easily outmaneuver or just shoot straight through it, and using Ultra Stamp as a projectile is also just inconsistent, as it keeps hitting random terrain. What? It's a love-hate relationship. But we're here to yap about Wiper, not Ultra Stamp. The kit's main appeal is both the sub and special alongside the main weapon's mobility that allows it to be an aggressive powerhouse, and with the gear freedom, it can run quick respawn, allowing it to constantly stay in battle. For those who like to shut their brain off and just hold forward, Wiper is meant for you. Splatana Wiper Deco. It has beacon and missiles. You run around the paint and shoot missiles. Missiles got nerfed. It's ass now. This weapon is bad now. Saying Pause. Wait. I didn't 5-star this piece of just so I can make a one-off joke about it. Wako leans more into a supportive role, with beacons pairing well with the Tana's mobility and speed that allows you to easily place it all over the map. Missiles not only combos decently with Wiper's damage, but is another great supporting special to push in with your team. You see, that would be the intention if not for the fact that Mista Nogami smited the Wako into obscurity. Stamper is one of those weapons where it has an insanely strong main weapon balanced by its gear dependency. Both Stampers have been considered high to top tier throughout the game's lifetime, and the standard Stamper has been hailed as the best. With Burst Bomb to provide chip that pairs very well with Stamper's 70 damage hit, and Zipcaster to not only provide that aggressive positioning, but being able to dive the backline for free is just so nice. With both threatening close range one-shots, good mid-range with burst combos, and being able to contest anchors with Zipcaster, that makes V-Stamper a very flexible pick in almost any map mode combination. Although a difficult weapon to pick up and learn for the first time, it'll prove itself to be a very competitive pick once you put the time into it. Although seemingly overshadowed by its other kit, Stamper Nouveau proves itself to be a reliable mid-range support weapon. Rocking Crab Tank and Mist, it's a more defensive playstyle, which actually complements the main weapon's longer range and solid paint output. Mist isn't too complex, it cuts off angles and slightly helps lock areas down. Crab Tank is a versatile special that can anchor down and take space effectively, and if you're playing at Stamper's effective long range, you can easily pop Crab Tank without worrying as much about your positioning. For those who desire a more passive kit, Stamper Nouveau is a perfect fit. Decapitator has one of the biggest hitboxes out of all the Tanas. Because of its strong directs and its weaker ranged attacks, Decap plays in a very sharking focused playstyle. It can immediately close the distance with its long charge slashes, and once it's on top of you, it's hard to avoid it. The base kit comes with Suction and Big Bubbler, a very honest defensive kit. Suction was the first and only lethal bomb to be bestowed upon a Splatana, and it feels damn great to use, getting cheap and easy, very calculated and tactical bombs that can help manipulate your opponent's positioning. Honestly, I shouldn't have to explain why Suction is good. Bubbler is surprisingly impactful as you can force yourself into position with Ninja Squid and aggressively take space with your special. As the more defensive Decap variant, it's great at pushing forward and holding down space in the front line. Charcoal is the more aggressive Mint variant, running Inkjet and Wall. Wall allows the Decap to play more aggressively, pushing up slowly and then holding that space. The real kicker though is Inkjet. Being able to be used both defensively and offensively, Inkjet is a flexible special capable of logging down an area and be a threatening presence that enemies can't ignore. Compared to the vanilla kit, Charcoal is a perfect fit for those looking to solo carry their games with a self-sustainable kit combination. So I've sat here and yapped about what the Splatanas can do, but we have to ask, why should you play the Splatanas? So I asked around the community, places like Reddit, Discord, and friends, on why they played Splatanas. I think the most common answer was how cool. おいおいおい、ちょっと待った。まだ話終わってねえんだよ。ああ、まったくもう、オタクどもめ。Quite a few people found they loved its playstyle all the way back from the premiere, and some others picked it up because it was considered a high-tier weapon. Some people enjoyed the playstyle and perks the weapon offered, be it the good mobility on Wiper, the reliable nature of Stamper, and of course, the very addicting and isn't an issue and I would never have problems with it, direct sound. The difficulty of the class actually ended up being a reason for why some people do play Tana, as well as pushing others away. Compared to many other weapons in Splatoon, the Splatanas are considered to be one of the most difficult weapons to pick up and learn. Yet the gratification of learning to play it properly is what truly makes the Splatana worth learning. Tana actually hooked in many players due to its uniqueness, but also its similarity with other weapons such as rollers, blasters, or even the mobility of brushes, which made it easier to transition and understand its playstyles. In the 2024 Sizzle season, Decav has also been swarming lobbies not only because of the hype surrounding the new weapon, but also the ease of use with its main plus kit combo. Although the reasons why people play Thanos differ, it's definitely a popular pick and a welcome addition to the Splatoon 3 environment. So you've listened to me yap about the playstyles, the kits, and what the community's thoughts on the Splatanas are, but what about me? Why did I go out of my way to 5-star Wiper, Wecco, Stamper, and Stamper Nouveau? Why am I planning to 5-star both the Cavitators and Order Stamper? Why have I still not bothered pushing top 5? Wait, that's unrelated. It feels like I've made playing Splatanas my entire personality, trying to stand out with it even, yet it just feels perfect. A weapon that has good mobility, have the Oko potential up close, just a pure dopamine rush for a one-trick Slayer main like me. I never cared for either Wiper or Stamper in the first few Splatoon 3 directs, and trying out Wiper in the premiere didn't quite go well either, because I suffer from a severe case of skill issue, not being able to pull off any one-shots was pretty frustrating. The first few weeks of the full Splatoon 3 release was spent one-starring a ton of weapons to get a feel for what I might end up maining. Some weapons were explored a little bit more than others, ranging from 52 Gal, Octobrush, Dark Tetras, Nautilus, and even Rapid Blaster. It was only till I got a decent game with the Wiper and Turf War, had a friend tell me it didn't count for anything because it was in Turf War, and maybe out of petty revenge I started grinding out the weapon. As I grinded Wiper, I eventually also gravitated towards Stamper because it was the same class. I played Stamper before a pro character made it cool, and I played Wiper before it got buffed, because Wiper only got its buffs after the first season ended. Past that is history, I just kept grinding Splatanas. So all players are different, have different playstyles and preferences, and different views on what they find satisfying. Splatanas are considered to have a higher barrier for entry compared to other weapons as well. There definitely is a learning curve to them, yet if you even put some time into it, you'll be able to use one of the most flexible, satisfying weapons in the game. If you're looking for a strong meta weapon, you can pick up the Stamper. If you want to feel the constant dopamine rush from hearing direct sounds, you can pick up the Decav. If you want a hyper-aggressive feeding weapon, Wiper is there. There are even more supportive or defensive variants to all three weapons. It covers such a wide array of styles, so you don't even have to worry about knowing combos to pick up and play. And at the end of the day, it costs nothing to try the weapon out. So queue up a game of Anarchy or Turf War with your friends and take it for a spin. Maybe it'll be your next Destined main. And this yap was brought to you by Nower, and we'll see you next time. See ya! And remember, as Sun Tzu once said, haha, funny sword. You know, this was kind of a remake, if you would say, of an old video I did 1 year ago. I think it turned out a lot better, and I mean, thank you for watching. And this is a little bit cheesy, but please do like and subscribe and share. Thanks.